Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio is back. That's right, NHRA Nitro. I'm Joe Castello, and we are rocking and rolling into the new year, 2026. And we're 2 weeks in now, and we're starting to build a little momentum, and the NHRA Nitro show is back. I'm super excited about today's show because we have NHRA's Director of Media and Communications, Josh Hatchet, made an appearance last year. And we're going to go over all the cool things that are going on in the 75th season of the NHRA. In fact, in a couple of days, something I think is pretty cool is going to happen. And we'll be talking about that when Josh joins us in about 20 minutes or so. In the meantime, we got a lot to catch up on. You know, a lot of guests and a lot of cool things happening in the WFO universe. We have been catching up with our Lucas Oil Series champions. Sean Bellemere last week. Hopefully you enjoyed that show. Really great stuff hearing from Sean and what they're talking about. The drive for 6 in 26. Very exciting. Going into the Big Daddy Don Garlett's International Drag Racing Hall of Fame. Really good stuff coming up here on WFO. So, of course, anybody that does one of these shows on the YouTube or on the Facebook or on the X, wherever you happen to be listening, we ask you to subscribe, click the bell, share, post, repost. That's how we grow. We watch the numbers go up throughout the show. It is really amazing. As people come on, they see something's going on. We're talking drag racing. We're talking NHRA drag racing. They kick it. But we've already spoken with Justin Lamb and Darian Bosch. And later today, I'll be speaking with Casey Plaisir and Top Dragster World Champ. And JJ Brock, we're going to speak with on Thursday. And I know that you guys are big supporters of all drag racing. We see it in the comments and the posts out there. And so when we do have one of our Lucas Oil Series champions, to me, it is just so important. It's important to grow the sport, to showcase our champions, their personalities, their talent, their ability, their skill, their stories by sharing the show. It's just that simple. Yes, watching it and taking it in is one thing. So why am I telling you this so aggressively? The answer is because we're going to be rolling these interviews out at different times, you know, during the week, later on in the week. I'm thinking Thursday and Friday at noon. I'm thinking that noon Eastern is a great time to catch everybody for between, 20 and 40 minutes with each champion. And so that's going to be coming up on WFO, and we're going to go through as many champions we can connect with. And believe it or not, I have reached out to some champions and, haven't heard back by some, but, they're way out west and north. But I'm not ratting anybody out. I'm just saying what it is. And so I'm super excited. I can also tell you that next week's show is one you're not going to want to miss. You're not going to want to miss it. And I'll tell you why. Well, if you've been keeping up with the big announcement schedule, January 15th, 2 days from now, Thursday, is the big Ford Performance Showcase up there in Michigan, where they are going to unveil all the great stuff that they've got going on for 2026 and beyond. And so, what could they possibly be unveiling? What could have anything to do with the sport of drag racing? We just don't know. Bob Tasca, though, got on his social media a couple of weeks ago and told us that we should watch, and so we'll be watching. Now, the guys at Life's a Drag will be on tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. That show's going pretty well. Jumped on with those guys last week. Josh Hart was on. Josh is at Meekum Auctions. He's got his whole Dodge collection going on sale. So there's a lot going on as we ramp in to 2026. But something that I thought we could talk a little bit about as we get ready for Josh Hatchet is the online list, the 75th anniversary drivers list that NHRA has put out, and it's causing controversy. It is great stuff. So we're going to get into that. I want your takes. We're going to go to the chat section. We're going to see what you guys have to say. I'm going to share a story or two about just some of the back and forth I have had about the list. The whole point with these lists is to create conversation. We're going to do all of that as we come up. I was at the Daryl Gwynn Show of Shows in Pompano Beach this past Saturday night, 26th anniversary drag racing car show in Pompano Beach at the Sheehan Autoplex, formerly Sheehan Pontiac and GMC. And those guys, they love racing. They love Daryl every year. It's amazing. If you want to see some of the video, you can check out my Instagram, WFO Joe, and our WFO Instagram as well. I had a weird incident that prevented me from doing what I had planned on doing, which is capture like all kinds of long form stuff and play it here on the show. Instead, my iPhone said, "No, storage is full right at the wrong time." I know. Okay, boomer. But I'm not a boomer, but I did run out of storage on my phone. But what are you going to do, right? Those are the breaks. I see everybody is checking in out there in the chat. We're going to get to your comments. We're going to talk to you about the 75th anniversary of NHRA and the list and all that stuff. Some big news. We mentioned last week, like if you don't listen to the Ignition Show, the audio only podcast, if you're a Patreon, you can watch the video just like this, which is cool. Speaking of which, Patreons, welcome C5 Pete. C5 Pete has signed up for a year. C5 Pete has got a t-shirt and stickers and a patch and a bunch of stuff coming his way right after the show. I'm very aggressive when it comes to sending out our Patreon swag in January before the travel begins, right? So if you want to join our Patreon listener club, if you want to see the video of the Ignition Show, if you want to see the Hear It From Heiner shows, if you want to get Monday Motivation and be part of the secret society and help out the WFO universe, go to patreon.com/WFO radio and do like C5 Pete did. And if you sign up for a year, I'll send you a t-shirt. In addition to everything else, please indicate your t-shirt size at first right away. But before we do that, though, I do want to honor and thank the people who make it possible for me to go WFO and do this show on a weekly basis. Sports talk for NHRA fans, talking about the sport, calling out those who have no idea what they're talking about. Are we going to do that? I don't know. We got to stick around. But first, I want to tell you about the folks at Larice Motorsports Insurance. Spoke with Holden earlier this year, and it all started 1 year ago at this time. I was loading Project Pontiac up, getting ready to go to TBM Brakes in Bradenton to put the brakes on Project Pontiac. And at the car show this past weekend, guys, a few people brought me hand-delivered new photographs of Project Pontiac, like photos that are new to me that I have never seen from 1992. Check this out. That's at Miami Hollywood Speedway in 1992. At the time, the car is only 14 years old. Think about that, a 14-year-old car. Like, I don't own a car that's newer than 14 years old. Ron Merkel, one of our weekly listeners, dug these photographs out of his collection. Here's another one, Miami Hollywood Speedway. If you don't know the track, you can look at that tower. It was a big tower for back in the day. There was a round track in the background, an oval track, 3/8 of a mile, I think. It was an iconic facility, and this is 1992. I'm in there. There are questions like, is that the tree? I don't think so. In 1992, they had a CompuLink tree. This tree that is back there was in the first floor of that tower, like kind of right behind that window you see, in a storage room, maybe a little to the right, broken and dilapidated. This is the former Krondek tree, 5-bulb tree. And just for, this is Snake, a photo of Snake doing a match race against Mongoose, 1984, I believe, at Moroso Motorsports Park, now PBIR. This is the cool stuff that happens when you go to car shows like the Daryl Gwynn Show of Shows. And since I'm showing photographs, Steve Grunwald sent me this one, Project Pontiac 1989. Look at the butterfly scoop. That car was a street car. That was a 1280 car right there. 1280 car, stock bottom half, cast iron, cast rods, cast pistons, from the factory, 63,000 miles on it. Dwayne McDaniel driving, 1990 5-day bracket race is really what it was. 5-day bracket race. Got down to 3 cars, lost to Steve Cohen in the semis. Could have gone to the final in a street car. We had to tear the window tint off for it to be legal. And another great photograph I got was of the Motorsports Saturday dragster that I drove in 1999 or something. But anyway, I told you that story to tell you this one. We're loading up the car, and I'm thinking, my goodness, man, I've put so much effort into this thing. I definitely don't have the money to replace it. What if? And that's when I reached out to the folks at Larice Motorsports Insurance and, insured my racing operation, whether it be the trailer, the race car, your tools, all of it, pit vehicles. They can write you a policy, and that's what they did for me. And got out on the highways in South Florida feeling a whole lot better about myself. Like, all right, if one of these, fine folks decides to accidentally drive into the side of me and we have a problem or, tragedy, at least I'm covered. The problem is you can get insurance in a lot of different places, but what are the exemptions and do they understand racing and what kind of policies do you have? Like, there are so many exemptions that you may not know about. Like, if you have race fuel in your trailer, like, who's got race fuel in their trailer? Every racer. If you've got race fuel in your trailer, you might have an exemption and might not be covered. Yeah, sorry, Joe, you had race fuel in there, and so you're not covered. On the return road at the racetrack, things can happen there, et cetera, and so on. Go to LariceMotorsportsInsurance.com. Check out their website. When you call them, tell them you heard about it on WFO radio, some of the details, but it's food for thought, and we'll be talking more and more about it over the course of the season. Really excited about the guys from Larice for coming on WFO. Also, shout out to the folks at Bernie's Speed Shop, BURNYZZ. That's Josh Hart. We're going to the Fan Fest up there in March, really right at the very beginning of March, Wednesday before the Gator Nationals. Josh Hart, Fan Fest, Bernie's Speed Shop. Be there. Bernie's is a dealership for cars of consequence, and they will buy cars and they will sell cars. They make absolute A-list frame-off restorations. They've got an engine shop. They've got a paint and body shop. They do it all. Bernie's, BURNYZZ. And if you're watching from Bernie's, shout out to you guys. Appreciate the whole thing that you do up there. HusseyPerformance.net. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. We'll tell you a little bit more about these guys later on in the show. Foggett, Marvin Rodak, FTI, Total Seal, and again, the folks at Larice Motorsports Insurance. And I'll be working with the folks at Jesse later this week, early next week, as we put the G Sport Cats on my street car. Really excited. Let's see what everybody else has got to say out there before we get into our guest, Josh Hatchet, going to be joining us on the show. Ron Merkel, there he is. Ron, who supplied the photographs. Ron is a Pontiac guy, just to give you a little background on this guy from South Florida. And he's got a really cool is it a 67 or 68 Firebird convertible that he tows his 67, 68 Firebird race car with. It's really cool. They're both gold, and he has been collecting Pontiac stuff for his entire life, and obviously photographs of Project Pontiac. Carl Sari out there. Happy New Year, Joe. Happy New Year to you. Mr. Ant Dog, love the history. Well, we spent a lot of time on the Ignition Show talking about concert tickets and things that used to keepsake, the things you would keep to remind you of the previous years. And when they brought out these photographs, right, like this, you can't do that anymore. Carry some photographs. And that's what's so cool about NHRA in the 75th year. They're giving you all these keepsakes that you're going to be able to keep and talk about into the future. Awesome looking Firebird. Let's see. All right, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. The announcers on NHRA TV is precisely why I let my subscription expire with the rate increase. Love the sport, but can't justify having to watch it muted. So this guy, this is interesting, right? I find it interesting. And this is kind of what I wanted at the start of the show. A little bit of combat for fun. This guy is listening to WFO, the show where he listens to me and telling me on the show that I'm speaking on that he doesn't want to get NHRA.TV anymore because I'm on it. Right? Because I'm one of the voices, me, Galvin, Loans, Chris Monahan, others, Courtney, Ida, like whoever is on there, right? Like he doesn't like us. So he's telling me on the show, like, if you didn't really like me, sir, like if you really, I'm not bothering for you, then why are you here? Why are you here? I don't know. $10. An email went out yesterday that said that the subscription cost of NHRA.tv is going up. I believe it's $10. And it's like 164 instead of 155 or something like that. I don't even know the exact number. Now, I don't know the exact number because I'd pay it regardless. The cost of everything in your life has gone up. Everything in your life. There's nothing in your life that hasn't gone up. It's all gone up, everything. Right? Like my internet costs have gone up. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Don't worry. But the idea that they're going to call this very encompassing live stream that gives you access to every single run at every single NHRA national event from the first day to the final round, including the winner's circle celebration and the pre-race show, the likes of which you cannot see anywhere else. Unprecedented access has gone up by a cost of $10. So now it's like, let's call it $165 for 20 races, 3 days minimum each. If you do the math per hour of content. Now, here's where I come down, the market. I'm all about the market. If you like, I don't want to say the words can't afford, but if you can't justify, I'm sorry, there it is. The social media feeds are free and WFO is free. And you can watch on Fox Sports 1 and Big Fox. That is kind of a version of free. I mean, you got to buy a TV. You got to have an antenna. So, that's for you, man. I got to tell you. But this guy, like, it's the announcers that he's bothered by. He doesn't like them. He doesn't like us. So, you know what, sir? I respect your opinion. Good. Thank you very much. This gal says, good morning. Pete Lancier says, Happy New Year. Here we go. Here's one. Good morning, Joe. Nice work, sir. We love the sport to know what is going on and what's going on in the sport of drag racing. Exactly. Blake is out there. What's going on, etc. No one will ever agree on the list, Joe. You're not supposed to agree. That's the fun of the list. Now, we're going to get into it, but first, I do want to give credit back to the Ignition Show last week. I got a text right at the very end. Second Skag Dragster, Bluebird Turf, Will Smith doing the driving. Spoke with Paul Richards at the car show, and they're very excited. And then today, they just announced that Scott Okahara is going to partner with Glenn Huzar, as the crew chiefs on that car. And I think the guys at Skag realized that Coletta Motorsports with 2 cars, Alan Johnson, Brian Hughes, and like, you got to do something. When your competition is bowed up against you, doing what you're doing, and hoping for a lucky break or hoping that they stumble, that's not going to be enough. They got 2 cars. Skag guys got 2 cars. They're going to share data. They're going to share data. I like it. And I'm so happy and excited for Will Smith, guys. When I'm announcing terribly out there, like this guy says, and it's sounding awful, sometimes I talk about the drivers, and Will Smith is one of them. And every time he gets to come up to the starting line, I say something along the lines of, if this kid gets an opportunity, he's going to do big things in the sport of NHRA drag racing, because he's, like someone who's still thinks somewhere in there that they're young. He's a fine young man. He's a good person, good guy. We like him. Everybody likes Will. He loves drag racing. Daryl Gwynn and I had a nice conversation about Will. And this is how it's supposed to go. Will funded his licensing and all that stuff. He took the leap of faith and now is being rewarded. So I'm excited about it. Let's see, Drag Racing Mayhem. Okay, I have to ask, NASCAR fixed their broken championship format. Is this enough for NHRA to ditch their participation trophy spots to give us meaningful regular season battles again? I don't think so. I think that it's premature to say that NASCAR fixed anything. They are changing back to an older system and just tweaking some things. I like what they did. Frankly, they tried their experiment. It did not go over that great. And now they're trying something new. And if there's anything that I can go with there, like to your point, Drag Racing Mayhem, we'd know by now, I think we'd know by now. If there was going to be a major announcement about a change in the system, I think that would have happened already by now. And I also think that this thing that you say about participation trophy, how do I say? Like, everybody hates it, but they don't want to kill it just in case they need it. And you can talk to every team owner on the air. Last year, I talked to Cruz about it. Cruz was like, yeah, it's terrible, but we'll take it. Some version of that. And the person who's 11th with a big sponsor who had a decent year, but just barely missed it, when that happens, I think they'd pitch a fit. And they would be screaming and crying and yelling all about it. It's like one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of things. Worthy conversation to have, though. And maybe they will. I don't know everything that NHRA is doing as they do it. NHRA TV is the best coverage. I'd pay $50 more a year for the coverage. You can send that directly to me. No, I'm kidding. It is what it is. Like Ant can't afford. The good news is that you get more NHRA coverage for free everywhere than you ever have in the history of drag racing. You just watch the Fox show. There you go. Brian and Tony and those guys do a great job. Amanda and Bruno, they do a great job. They do a great job. And you can get that. You can watch on social media and get a lot. And you can watch WFO. So, it's a choice that we make. Let's see. Hey, Joe, don't fret. The whiner's life's too short. No, I'm not fretting. I'm having a little fun with it. Showing I'm not afraid to show negative comments about myself. Many fixed income NHRA fans, it's still expensive. I don't know, Dragster Jeff. Dragster Jeff is a Patreon. He's on our Ignition show. It's over the course of a year. I get it. It all depends on how much you like it. You go to a couple of movies over the course of a year, you've dropped that easily. Oh, look, this guy says, Austin is driving for Tasca. Not really a big announcement. LOL. Is that true? It was leaked weeks ago, says this guy, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Wow. And also he adds, Austin's a dumbass for leaving. Well, time will tell. We're planning on having a big guest next week on the show. Okay, I can't tell you who it is, though. Top secret stuff. But I can see that being a topic. And that's maybe what NHRA has lacked over the years. Nicole is so proud of Will. He has worked so hard to live his dream. Yeah, man. First of all, Will hasn't really been out there on a regular basis just yet. Will is the guy who put Jason Logan's face on the side of his car at Norwalk and got to the final round. Dave Harada's car. Where are you, Dave? Let's see. Yeah, Steve is just kind of negative. Dump the countdown after Indy. I disagree. I like the countdown. Notice NASCAR did not get rid of their playoff system. They just tweaked it. I'm okay with tweakage. I'm always okay for tweakage, trying new things. Am wondering if the Proc Dynasty isn't trying to start their own entity with Tasca as a backup, hence the delays of the announcement. There's no delays. It's not delays. This is the big splash that they're looking to make, assuming you're correct. Hey, Joe, could we get you in the booth and see, I don't like this. That's it. That's why such negativity. Just say it. You don't like the low zone. Jason Logan is out there. Thank you, Jason, for considering that it was you and not me. No, I take it all upon myself. That's kind of fun. NHRA TV is good stuff. All of that. Well, we're just going to have to see. All right, let's get to the news while we wait for Josh Hatchet. Tony Stewart going back NASCAR racing. Going to be in the Craftsman Truck Series race with Colleague Racing driving a Dodge Ram. Dodge is back. Tony is Dodge. Tony is on the track. Tony Stewart is doing great things for drag racing by continuing his involvement everywhere else. Those of you who know that the Chili Bowl is going on this week out there, Tulsa Expo Center, Golden Driller. That's a big race for midgets and midget cars. And Tony is the Grand Marshal going out there. And wherever he makes his presence known, he brings NHRA Drag Racing with him and the 75th season. It's very exciting. He's going to be running the weekend of the Daytona 500 in the Craftsman Truck Series in a Dodge Ram. And every time he's out there, I would hope that they would say something along the lines of Tony, who is now making his living as a professional drag racer in the NHRA. I think that's what's going to happen. I think it would be, I don't know, wrong for them to like try to omit his drag racing, and they never have. So that's great. Great news for Tony. Should be pretty cool. Pretty excited. Speaking of Tony's, American Communications Construction and Aloha Beauty Lounge extend with Tony Schumacher till 2032. That is a long extension. Avon, way to go. Avon McBride. That guy, I think, could potentially develop into a big character in the world of NHRA drag racing, because I've spoken with him on the starting line. He seems to be a very nice gentleman and have some swag about him. And 2032 looks like Tony Schumacher has learned the lessons of the past. 2032, man. Let's do 6 years. How long do you want to race, Tony? 6 more years. All right, lock it in. Very exciting for Tony Schumacher. But I did say I was going to talk a little bit about the list and the first 5 drivers to drop on the list. Now, coming out of Sports Talk Radio, which I don't know if you guys know that. Sports Talk Miami, 560 QAM, working on there with, Boog Shambi, who does play-by-play of MLB on there, was my first host that I was a producer for. And then I was all over the place. Hank Goldberg a little bit. Neil Rogers was more of a talk entertainment guy. But I spent a lot of time, cut my teeth in, the entertainment and broadcast industry at 560 WQAM. When we wanted to light up the phones, we made a list show. People love lists. They love to hate lists. They love to argue with lists. And that's what's so cool about this NHRA list. You had 50 years, and the first list is up there. They elected to not remove anybody from the first 50 list. Like, sorry, Malcolm Durham, you're off the list. You're no longer one of the 50 greatest. You're out of there. They're not going to do that, and I agree with that call, which means in the last 25 years of NHRA drag racing, where we have created a lot of superstars, now we got to come up with 25 names, and it's not easy. And going on NHRA's Facebook page is really interesting because people are fighting for what they believe. And I love it and hate it. I love that people are fighting for what they believe. I hate it because, as you know, sometimes social media posts, the feeling and the tone of the post is hateful. Like, it's really hard. I don't know, maybe it's me or maybe it's everybody, but it's hard to see words in text. And I'm like right here when I'm talking to this guy, like maybe when he's talking about how bad the announcers on NHRA.TV, he's saying it in a joyful, positive way. I don't know that. I just don't know. There's no way to know, right? It's just words. And since it's kind of an attack, I take it in a negative way. But seeing like Matt Smith was on the list, and this guy doesn't think Matt Smith belongs on the list. Matt Smith, 6 championships in a very condensed period, 6, pretty much 20% of the 25 years Matt Smith has been a champion. He doesn't deserve it. Doesn't deserve it. Okay. What is that? It's an opinion. It's an opinion. And my goodness, we need opinions about NHRA drag racing out there. That's what the sport's got to have. So the first 5 drop last week. Think after the show, by the way, after the show. Otherwise, we would have talked about it. And they got the 75 moments, and there's all kinds of 75s going on, and it's great. But in the interest of just keeping everybody's attention focused, the first 5 were Tony Schumacher. Does anyone debate that Tony Schumacher deserves to be on the list of that? Right. And the first, no. And if you do, like, your opinion is wrong. I'm sorry. Like, you can have an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. There's all kinds of great opinions out there. But Tony Schumacher not belonging in the top 75 or the first of the 25 this, quarter century, that's invalid. Robert Hight. Super excited to see Robert Hight included. Robert Hight, who I would love to invite on WFO. I want to invite Robert on WFO, and I texted him, and I was like, Robert, congratulations. And he got back with me, and it was cool. And I haven't really heard from Robert in the world of drag racing, and I didn't want to make it about like me trying to pull him on the show. So I'm going to wait until next week, and then I'll invite him on. Like, Robert, come on, check in with us, drag racers. You're going on those gun shows, Robert. You can definitely come hang out with the drag racers. Andrew Hines. right? And I'm just kind of looking across the screen. I think if we're going to actually make the order, it would be Tony Schumacher, Robert Haidt. Yeah, in the story, they put him in an order. And so I'm going to give him that order because I think they do that with a purpose. Robert Haidt, come on. One of the greatest that we've seen, 3 championships, just incredible. Erica Enders, 6 world championships, 50 wins, multiple classes, a sportsman win in super gas, and then all the pro stock wins, multiple U.S. Nationals victories, 3 of them. Erica is no doubt in the top 25 of this quarter century. Andrew Hines, 6 world championships, was the winningest pro stock motorcycle racer, still is. No, like you know, someone might try to tell you, like, well, it's the bikes, I don't like bikes. Sorry, dude. The bikes are part of the Mission Food series. So, you're out, Tom. And then finally, and this is what made me very happy, like one of my personal favorites, like coming up, you have your heroes in racing, the people, the icons, the people you follow. Like I think about mine over the years, the guys that I rooted for, the guys that I thought were super cool, right? Snake, of course. Garlitz, of course. Warren Johnson, of course, right? Dale Earnhardt, Mario Andretti. These are my motorsports heroes, the guys that I rooted for, that I loved. Darrell Gwynn, like, man, you got the foam finger and you're cheering because you want them to win. Peter Biondo. Why? Well, Italian from the Northeast, Biondo racing a Pontiac and Superstock, winning the U.S. Nationals on what I think was the first ever televised live show, sitting there in front of the old Magnavox with my dad, right? Like with the wooden doors that come out like a piece of furniture, and seeing Peter in the shutdown area pumping his fist, the Atari car film on Teeth's car, and then to get to know him years later. And of course, he's gone on to the Spring Fling, and now, you're not supposed to meet your heroes. And it's like, Peter's just a guy now, right? Like, hey, Peter. But no, I don't think that. Like, the guy's still a hero to me. First group of the next 25. To me, that was huge for the Lucas Oil Series racer. Huge. And so, some posts on there was interesting. Last week, I took a shot at my great friend, Code Red, Code Blue, Craig Gaultier. We actually had a phone call about it. Craig, I'm telling the story. Because I felt like, when Peter makes the first group for the Lucas Oil racers, that's a win, not a loss. That's a success. Craig was taken up for the Lucas Oil Series racers. He was like, no, man, we need more Lucas Oil Series racers, and maybe you'll get them. And so then the second group just dropped a couple of days ago. Now, this is one where there's a lot of discussion and debate. Not everybody agrees with these names, like Antron Brown. He's only got 4 world championships and over 60 wins, 2 different categories, has emerged as a team owner, been the face of the sport for 10 years. Antron Brown. Yeah. Dead lock. Antron Brown is a lock. Ron Capps. Similar situation. Ron Capps has been, he crossed the centuries. Ron Capps was the thing in last century. And this list is amazing, right? It maybe we haven't fully understood the power of the stars that we've experienced over this last 25 years. When you think back to the golden era, when we were kids, when I was a kid, the late 70s and the early 80s, going to the Gator Nationals, 1980 through 2000, that's 20 years. I got 20 years. If you were there at the very beginning of drag racing, you got like 40 something years. We've only been around for 75 years. So I got to see a lot of it in person. Not all of it, a lot of it, with respect to the people who were there from the very beginning. But the numbers of the stars, more races, of course, the people that are making the list, like, man, Ron Capps. What does Ron Capps mean to the sport of drag racing? Well, hired and selected by Snake. Snake picked him. Spawn of Snake. Ron Capps. who has gone on multiple world championships, multiple U.S. nationals, probably behind John Force, the guy that people outside of NHRA know the best. The NASCAR people, because of the partnership with Napa, has maintained that great relationship. So it's a no-brainer. You don't like Ron Capps? He's on the list. Greg Anderson. Indisputable, undeniable, undebatable. On the list. Over 100 wins, the winningest pro stock driver ever, 6 world championships, and oh, by the way, still at the top of his game, all in this 25-year period. No brainer. So it's kind of tough right now because there's not really a lot of debate. You can't say Greg Anderson doesn't belong there. It is interesting that Erica got in before Greg if we're doing that. If we're assigning a number. Because I would have put Greg in that first tranche. But if you want to get like gritty, Erica went in before Greg. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. They're all in the list. They all get the key to the VIP room. Matt Smith. 6 pro stock motorcycle world championships, doing it pretty much all himself with his wife, Angie, with limited sponsorship for much of that period. Remember those years? Like I remember those years because Matt Smith's dominance and my emergence as a media personality in and around NHRA during and following my XM satellite radio stint. I remember being at the Gator Nationals at the Nitro Fish booth, doing a show from the Nitro Fish booth. And Kara was helping out. And a lot of people, thank you, Kara, for doing that. Thank you. You're not even in drag racing anymore, but thank you. Matt and Angie came over. They had a really cool sponsor, like a tow hitch guy. It had like some latch thing, and then he vaporized into the air. And they had sponsorship and they didn't have sponsorship. And they just fought and clawed and continued and finally got hooked up with Denso. And 6 world championships later, Matt Smith is one of our greatest drivers, absolutely deserves to be on the list. And then the 10th driver, the last one, another Lucas Oil Series racer, exclusive Lucas Oil Series racer, Dan Fletcher. If you don't know Dan Fletcher, and Kevin McKenna just did a sports report on Dan Fletcher, because if you follow Nitro, right, maybe you don't know Dan Fletcher. But this guy is an icon, a character, someone to aspire to drive like. He's got his quirks. He's always last in line. He shows up. He's got his own attitude. Right? Right on. He's got his sayings. Right on, right on, right on. And so it's very interesting. You know, it would help if I sent Josh Hatchet the link. That would have helped, right? But I can rectify that right now. I got my excitement on. I'm fired up talking about this list. And that's what the lists are for. So now there are 15 spots remaining. And there are so many great drivers out there who have accomplished major things. You know, like Sean Bellemere. He's a 5-time top alcohol funny car world champion. Like, does he get in 5 world championships in like 8 years? That's a good debate, right? What about Bo Butner? Bo Butner has won world championships in comp eliminator, pro stock, factory stock, has won in, I believe, 7 different categories of drag racing. And, I don't know how many wins but Bo has, but I know he's got 3 consecutive U.S. Nationals victories. 3 consecutive. That's crazy. Does Bo get in? The interview I did with Justin Lamb coming up, his 6th world championship in 12 years. Is Justin Lamb going to get in? And then the whole friction between the Mission Foods Series exclusive pro racers and those that do both. And what does a Lucas Oil Series win or championship? Does it matter? Some have suggested there should be 2 lists. So we'll see. All right. Is Jason Line in? We'd have to go to the first. No, Jason Line is not in. Not yet. Right? Jason Line was not running in the first 50 years. Jason Line, 4 world championships. I believe he's got 49 wins. A championship in stock eliminator. That's an interesting debate. Dave Connolly? I don't know. Fletcher is one of a kind. U.S. Nationals since 1973, never missed a race. A lot of changes, but you keep us up to date. That's the modern way. Thanks to your show, Carl. Oh, Carl, that's so nice of you. You want to join Patreon, Carl? You can do it. Unlike EE, Anderson does it all and knows how, like the professor and Garlitz. Okay, I don't want to compare. Erica is more of a pure driver, and she's on a team, which that's what she does. I've seen Erica do physical work on the cars. She runs the valves. She does. She's definitely not just sitting around waiting to put on a helmet. That is for a fact. But she definitely doesn't take on the level of responsibility Greg Anderson does. So if you want to make that distinction, you may. That's it. Terminator. Yeah. People love Biondo. Yeah, let me, yes, link in email. Yeah. Here I am rolling, and I hadn't sent Josh the link. That's on me. Cersei, you were right. The NHRA TV thing, right? Let's see. Magnavox. Haven't heard that name in forever. It was a great TV, man. I would love to have it. You know, those things are coming back, like old school furniture sets, you know. Heinz had a major advantage with the large air intakes compared to most of the opposition. Heinz had a major advantage by being Heinz. Vance and Heinz. They are a pro stock motorcycle factory. But in the end, the guy won, 46 races and 6 championships, and designed and built and knows. Just go back to our Richard Gadsden interview and see. Wins don't equate greatness. I disagree with that. I think wins do have a correlation. Add Clay Millican to the top 25. Whew. Wow, if Clay's out there, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see. Is Clay Millican going to make it? I don't know that Clay's got the wins, guys. I don't know that Clay's got the wins. We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys, this has all been an episode. Stinnett? Should Gary Stinnett get in? I don't know. 4-time Super Comp world champion. Has had great success in super stock as well. I believe he's got 35 career Wallies. Could Stinnett get in there? I don't know. And that's why you got to watch the list. All right, so this whole exercise has been to get to this moment. And it was supposed to be 20 minutes ago, but I just blew right through that because I am super excited. We are going to bring on the Director of Media and Communications for the NHRA. Josh Hatchet is going to join us seconds from now. We're going to learn all the great things that are going to be happening in the 75th season of the NHRA, including some news this week, right after this.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
And we're back here on WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro. If you're watching the show, I ask you to like and subscribe and drop a comment on the YouTube afterwards. What drivers do you think should make the rest of the top 75 list. Let's drop some names. So I referenced my debate with Craig Gaultier of Code Red, Code Blue, a great super stock racer himself. And we started to talk about, and he made a post today about who he thinks should get in the list. Let's talk about what they did to make them worthy. What did they do to make them worthy of this honor? And, of course, the next 25 will go in 26 to 2050. But right now, joining us, he is the Director of Media and Communications for the National Hot Rod Association. I hope I'm getting his title correct, Mr. Josh Hatchet. Josh, welcome back to WFO. How are you?
Good, Joe. It's going to be back, and you nailed it. You got it.
Thank you very much. I put a lot of effort into getting your title correct, and I'm glad that I did. I would say Happy New Year, but recently I was scolded that it is after January 4th, and so no more Happy New Year. But this is the first time we've been on the air in the new year as a communications expert. When is it too late to say Happy New Year?
Well, Larry David's got a pretty good rule of thumb. I think he said 3 days, so I think we're
beyond that.
We're well past that.
I love Larry David, and I believe in his line etiquette and all of those things. So we'll go with that. Okay. All right, Josh, you're coming in the middle of kind of a one-way discussion, me and the commenters out there in our chat, and we're talking about the first 10 drivers into the 75th season of the NHRA list. And everybody to me is pretty much a lock so far. The first 10 are a lock. Greg, Erica, Tony Schumacher, Antron Brown, all of that. I loved that Peter Biondo and Dan Fletcher, both locks, in my opinion, both made it. You're inside the NHRA. I'm sure this was an exhaustive exercise.
Well, yeah, for sure, because you had the original top 50, and then you're only going to add 25 more. So, you think about when that list came out, 25 years ago, and now you're just going to add one more to it. Or, one more each year. So, I mean, it's a pretty tough list when you consider, the full season now where we're 20 plus races a year. You've got so many good drivers across pro and sportsman ranks. I mean, that's tough. I mean, I saw several initial lists of we're here, we got to get down to this and down to this. And I mean, you're bound to leave off some very talented, probably deserving racers, so it's tough for sure. I mean, if you make this list, it's pretty legit.
I mean, very excited about it. Oh, look at this. Don Kuntz says Jerry Ekman and Bob Glidden. Don Kuntz, who's a family member, I believe, if memory serves me right, it was his dad, could be Don, out there in the chat. That's great stuff. I remember Don Kuntz running real well. I think had a big event in Richmond one year. 75th season of the NHRA. I think there's some big news happening this week. So why don't you just start from there, and then we'll kind of work through some of the cool things that are going to happen.
Well, certainly a big announcement on Thursday, right? With
Tasca and Ford.
And Tasca. That's
what's going to happen, Josh. Do we have any idea?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
It'll be great.
It's going to be great. You're really going to enjoy it.
Yes.
Is this the worst kept secret, or has it just been a long time with a lot of people sitting at home thinking?
All the above, I think.
Agreed.
I think, people have managed to probably figure it out, but regardless, I think it's large, and then kind of getting right into it, next week, some exciting stuff. We've got the premiere of Chasing Speed on Vice, which is going to be awesome. So we're doing some cool things around that. Our Nitro champs, Austin Prock and Doug Coletta, are going to go to New York City, kind of to talk about the premiere, and they're going to ring the opening bell on the stock market to kind of kick off the day.
When is that happening?
Next Wednesday. So the day of the premiere, we're going to do a whole kind of big day in New York City to kind of promote the premiere and all that good stuff. So yeah,
so let's pause on that, because loans and guys, if I appreciate and enjoy loyalty to a show, WFO, but I think it's important to check out all the shows because everyone's got these great different opinions. And Loans has been burning up the social, saying that Chasing Speed is the best thing that he has seen this corporation or group or whatever you want to call it do over his years at the NHRA. That what he's seen and been part of has been amazing, and that we're all going to love it. I'm excited. I've seen very little, and I'm happy about that. I'm going to I'm going to enjoy it like a premiere, like I'm going to watch it on Vice television. If you don't have Vice, you probably do, and you just don't know. Known for gritty journalism, and I think drag racing is perfect. And we're going to have 6 episodes leading right into the start of the Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gator Nationals. That's pretty big.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you're right. I think it fits their demographic perfectly. They just, the people that watch Vice don't know it yet. And, they're going to see drag racing. I think they're going to enjoy it. And again, because I think this is done in a really raw way where you get to see the emotion and the intensity involved in drag racing behind the scenes. A lot of very cool behind the scenes stuff of like all the guys and girls who dedicate their lives to this and what it takes, I think it's going to be really cool. Really puts the sport in a whole new light, again, in front of a whole new audience. Hopefully all the NHRA fans go over to Vice to catch it all. But I think that's a great opportunity to showcase this to new people who will enjoy it.
And you know me, I can have fun with cynicism, Yeah. I'm not going to watch their stupid show because they don't do enough to promote the sport. It's what we're constantly fighting. Yeah. The ringing the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. Yeah. That's an interesting concept. How did that come together? I watch Kramer and those guys. I forget what the name of the show is at 9 a.m. On CNBC as they ring the bell each morning, and all these different companies and different businesses are on there ringing the bell, and it's a huge deal, and they get a little bit of airtime. What are we going to hear them say? Like NHRA Drag Racing celebrating their 75th season, got a brand new show on Vice. Here's Doug Coletta and Austin Prock ringing the bell.
I think you wrote the script for me. So yeah, I think that'll be it. Definitely a celebration of 75th. 75 seasons of just like the great American motorsport, that type of thing, a special year for us and Vice. And, we're trying to just have new ways to celebrate our champions on a national level. New York City obviously is the #1 market in the country, and trying to just figure out ways to get our drivers there and new lights on a national scale. And this kind of just timed up well. Vice headquarters is in New York City. We're going to do kind of a special showing that evening, hit all the sites, do all the media, that kind of thing. So I think it's just a kind of a fun way to kick off the year, celebrate our champions, and kind of really just blow this whole 75 thing, right off the top.
I'm excited about that. That's that is a big deal. Like, it's a little thing and it's going to last 15 seconds.
Yeah, right.
But the audience, it's like the target audience, the Fortune 500 companies, like all the executives, everybody who's buying and selling stocks, trying to make money. They're watching that, and they're going to see NHRA, and I think it's going to reinforce many of the things we're already talking about. So the Vice show next week. Let's talk about the Ford announcement though, coming up Thursday. I'm excited to see what they do with this opportunity. And I have no idea, and maybe you have a little idea, whatever you can share with us, but you see Formula One and how big they go, right? It's like, the TED Talks, it's like giant, it's like consumer electronics show. There's explosions, there's lighting, cars are lifting up out of the ground. People are flying in parachutes, that kind of stuff. Ford can make this as big as they want, whatever it is that they're going to be announcing, which we don't know. But what do you think about this, and what will it say for this big thing that may or may not happen?
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be huge. They're going to do this massive, like you said, with all the teams and series involved, they're going to blow it out of the water. So I think just being able to be part of that is going to be massive. I think they're going to do some cool things with the car that day. I know that for sure. And, you can just kind of see like Ford Racing, I don't know if you want to call it recommitment, but like there's certainly renewed enthusiasm within Ford for all things motorsports, and having our foot in the door there, I think is huge. You can kind of sense that momentum with them and, with Dodge, and some of that stuff. So I think that's very exciting. Obviously, Bob Tasca has great connections within Ford, so that helps the case. I mean, so I think there's a lot of great energy. I think the event's going to be spectacular. So any piece of that NHRA gets, I think is just great for us for sure.
I'm very excited about it. So we'll see. And, I don't know if that's going to be streamed or what that is going to be available on the web, but that information, we'll put it out there. And I will certainly share it if it's available on the stream. We want to help for it. But meanwhile, you mentioned Dodge. How about Tony Stewart, our regular season Top Fuel champion, getting back in a Craftsman truck?
It's wild, right?
Kind of out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden, I got a text today. Jordan Bianchi is, putting out information, and Smoke is doing a good job for drag racing by being everywhere.
Well, and I saw something cool on a tweet from Bob Pockris, who was like, Tony Stewart, who races NHRA Top Fuel, is returning to Daytona. So it's kind of neat. Like, again, we're kind of getting some recognition because that's what Tony's doing right now. He's drag racing and taking a quick little cameo back into NASCAR in the Truck Series with Dodge. And again, I think it all benefits us no matter what. Dodge is a great partner for them and for drag racing. So that involvement kind of bleeds over to NHRA, and, him doing this, 2-3 weeks before Gainesville. I mean, and Daytona is just a couple hours away. I think that just kind of builds the buzz for Gainesville, all over again. He races this. Hopefully he does well, does great. That's going to generate tons of headlines. And then, hey, come see me 3 weeks later where I could be racing against my wife in Top Fuel going 330 miles an hour. So, I mean, I love it. I think it's awesome. And I think it can only benefit us too.
If you like drag racing, the storylines that are being created in our imaginations right now, like we got to let it all play out. We'll see. Who knows?
Right.
It's possible they don't get next to each other on the track.
Right.
And we're just going to have to let it all play out, but it's going to be kind of fun and exciting what Tony's doing and Tasca. And I've got all my curiosities about that. And then our champs. And I'm planning on having can't say who, but a big guest on this show next week on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah?
Hopefully. Yes, we'll see.
Bigger than me?
Stature or actual size? I don't know. These are race car drivers after all. But let's move into the Gator Nationals realm. Well, actually, you've got a big event. You're coming to Miami. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, we're doing the Unrivaled event next Friday. The Women's 3-on-3 Basketball League, which is on it's in its second season now on TBS and TNT, kind of a way for the WNBA players to have something in the off season. So a lot of them go down there. It's all based in Miami, teams of 3-on-3 players. And so we're sending a few drivers down there to kind of be a part of that and, promote, women in motorsports and females thriving in motorsports, and a cool crossover. We had a couple players out in Vegas last year, and this is kind of continuing that. So just kind of putting our drivers in spots where maybe you hadn't seen them before, and, getting them to get support of people who say, hey, maybe I'll check that out. Maybe I'll come to Gainesville. Maybe I'll watch this now because I know this person's racing and I'm a fan of women in sports. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
And you get to come to Miami and we'll hang out down here.
Yeah, that's
right.
Clearly the number one priority for me.
Well, there are some big things happening here in the South Florida community. Josh, down here in the next couple of weeks.
That hurts. Because I'm a Buckeye.
No. Yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago, though. We've kind of gotten past that. It's revenge for 2002.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it is really amazing. Our community down here is really excited. Like, the Canes in the national championship here in our own community. Like, that is just the odds of that happening is wild. Right. Tremendous underdogs. We understand Indiana is just a juggernaut and everybody's picking them, and the Canes really don't have a chance. But it's going to be fun to be out there on the field, and hopefully they can, put up a scrap.
Yeah, it'll be good for sure.
It'll be good stuff. And then the Gator Nationals. Let's focus on Gainesville Raceway.
Well, that kicks off everything. I think.
I mean, we could talk about Orlando Speed World with the 2026 NHRA 75 debut of Project Pontiac in the Super Street category the week before. Ozzy Moya's track, Speed World Orlando. I don't know how long these people want to come down to Florida, enjoy the weather, but there's 3 consecutive weekends of NHRA drag racing. Speed World Orlando, which I will be racing at. the Gator Nationals, and then the following week, the Baby Gators. We kind of have flip-flopped the schedule. Pick it up wherever you'd like.
Well, I'm just returned from Florida to back home after vacation, and it's 5-degree wind chill. So I'd be happy to spend 3 more weeks in Florida, just to let you know on that regard. So yeah, Gainesville is going to be huge. I think it's kind of the kickoff for the Mission Food Series for the 75th, and kind of like that overall theme of so many cool things for the 75th. So I think a few things I wanted to kind of mention with that is just, you're going to have legends at every race. So all 20 races, you're going to have NHRA legends there to meet, be celebrated, get their autograph, just a lot of cool things. Gainesville's obviously going to be huge. You're going to have Kenny Bernstein, Garlitz, Prudhomme, Joe Amato, Shirley, and then Bob Fry.
Daryl Gwynn.
Daryl Gwynn, yes, thank you. And Daryl Gwynn. So, I mean, that's just a massive list, but it's going to be like a lineup like that at every race. Maybe not quite as many at every single race, but you're going to have legends at every race. So that's going to be a cool aspect. You're going to have like a cool prize or giveaway at each race. In Gainesville, it's going to be Sunday. First 6,500 fans get a season poster. That's very cool looking. So, another cool thing there. And each race is also going to have like a special historic moment that will be celebrated. Probably several of them, but each one will have like one big one. Obviously, you mentioned Gainesville, 300 miles an hour, Kenny Bernstein. That's going to be the moment that's celebrated. So a lot of like kind of cool nostalgia built around that. There's a commemorative ticket that you can buy to kind of celebrate that. So just stuff like that. And then you're going to go out in the midway. You're going to have like a new kind of interactive Nitro Mall. Nitro Mall is going to get a huge kind of like facelift that's going to be epic.
Okay, yeah, let's dig on that. Because I go into the Nitro Mall at every race and just make a lap because I like the Nitro Mall. Mm-hmm. And I love our privateers like Psycho Speed and Randy Lynn's Horsepower Headquarters and all Race Ugly. I want to mention everybody, right? But I love the Nitro Mall concept also because I remember when it first happened. Mm-hmm. It made like, oh my gosh, this is a major league sport, man. They got a mall and you can walk in and you're inside a tent and they got all this gear, but it has been pretty similar now for, I would say 20 years. And this is the first like rebrand of the Nitro Mall. What can you tell us about that?
Well, yeah, I think it's going to have like a cool theme, cool, like vintage Americana theme, like from just the look on the outside to the look on the inside. I think it's going to be really kind of cool and updated. I think fans will dig it. And then, just the new 75th apparel and items, I think have been very well received. So I think you'll get a chance to get those. But I think just that overall look and feel of something new and radically different and just a kind of a neat vintage throwback that also kind of looks a little bit modern, but definitely very like red, white, and blue kind of themed. So you'll have that. You'll have like this 75th anniversary stage where you'll have interviews and just kind of a cool central location for things. There's going to be like a cool throwback 75th like trailer that'll be there that I think fans will love, and just a lot of neat throwback themes to kind of honor the past but also look towards the future as well. So
it is really
fans will notice stuff for sure.
That's great. It's really amazing, as you know, and this is part of my DNA, and I say it more than I should, but I've been going to this race consecutively since 1980. And so I've seen just the changes in the sport and the tower and the grandstand, multiple towers. I've seen 3 different Gainesville towers, not because of me, because of my dad. Right. And I felt the sport evolving and becoming this mainstream thing where someone who has never turned a wrench in their life or put a tire on a car can go to this thing and sit down and watch a show and be entertained by amazing machines and seek refuge in the Top Eliminator Club or go up into the suites if they have that kind of connection. And it was bleachers. It was when I first went there, it was wooden bleachers. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to fall through these bleachers. And oh my God, I got a splinter in my butt. To see the sport evolve, to like live that evolution now to the 75th year is really amazing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you have to kind of celebrate that where you came from, in cool and special ways. But also like look forward, like these people paved the way for what it is. The people now are paving the way for what we can do in the future as this thing continues to grow and evolve. So I think it'll be a nice kind of balance that any fan, young or old, can enjoy. So yeah, I think all year long you're going to kind of notice little things and new things and updates and just special ways to honor people and just make it a really festive thing. And there'll be kind of like some big announcements to like, last year we did a whole 75th renewal. You got the ring and some very cool prizes to renew for your 75th anniversary tickets. Well, we're going to do something, just like that.
Yeah,
there'll be another very cool announcement before the start of the season, for next season that you'll be able to kind of renew all this year. It's going to be, dare I say, equal or better than the 75th ring. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that, folks. See, This is why you go WFO. You got to hear this. All right, Steven says, and this is kind of an interesting tie-in. With all the red, white, and blue, they'll be tying it in with the 250th celebration of the United States of America. And I am sad to say there are a lot of people that don't know what the 250 is, right? Like they don't understand that this is the 250th year of the United States of America, that they are living their lives and paying their bills. And I appreciate what they're doing. But this is a big deal
100%.
For the United States and NHRA. Like, what's more patriotic than our motorsport, right? The colors, everything. I love the gear. I love the swag. And I think when it comes to like all the motorsports do a great job. NASCAR does a great job, but we hang tough, hold our own, and dare I say, do a better job saluting our veterans. That's going to be a fun tie-in.
Yeah. Well, two things with that. Like, you think of this will be our first race from a professional standpoint than in the DC market. So, I mean, that's pretty neat. In our 75th year, in America's 250th year, this is our first time racing in the Mission Series in the DC market when we go to MIR for, at the end of May. I think that's pretty neat. And like, if you would think of one venue that celebrates Americana, maybe more than any of them, you probably say Norwalk. They're all decked out red, white, and blue. And that's going to be the week before July 4th weekend for the 250th. So I think that's going to be special. So I think we've leaned into that. I think we'll lean even further into that. I think that's just an awesome combo for sure.
Yeah. Bader, America, patriotism, Summit. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do. Probably just mediocre, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to go.
No fireworks or anything.
No.
No.
Yeah. They're going to cut back on the budget this year. Fireworks, I think. Kidding, Bill Bader. That's a joke. Sarcasm, the deep sarcasm. The 4 new tracks. Obviously, the way we got to this point, you can say it was rocky or whatever. But when I look at my calendar and I start to plan travel, I got excited because there's something new on the horizon for me.
Yeah.
Where do I go? How do I get there? Where am I going to go? What's it going to be like? And the answer is, I don't know. I've been to South Georgia Motorsports Park. I've seen that facility. The second I rolled in, I thought big potential here.
Yeah.
They love it. That's going to be, I think, our first of the new tracks.
Yep. I agree. I think it's going to go awesome. I think they've got Torres family has a enthusiasm for that place and just drag racing and everything. I think that's really contagious for sure. I think people, it's already got a great fan base. So you see some of the radio races, Ducks races there that are huge. So I think, again, you're introducing a whole new fan base to Nitro racing. So I think it's pretty cool. I think that's going to be a blowout, awesome event, 100%, no doubt about it.
Yeah, but that's one. Not, am I selling tickets here? Yeah, I am. I'm trying to sell tickets, but it's more about making sure that our people here on WFO, the most diehard and devoted of all the race fans out there, and I think I can prove that, get in. Right? Like
Right.
this is
Absolutely.
limited tickets here, guys. This is not wait till the last minute and decide to go to South Georgia or Maryland at the last second. Like they want to make sure that they don't overdo it and everybody have a bad experience because there was too many people. And, everybody talks about, there were cars 50 miles down the road and they didn't know what to do with them. That's bad. That's a bad thing.
Those people aren't coming next year.
They're not. They're mad. They're angry. And so they're going to try to manage the crowd. So if you want to go to South Georgia, if you want to go to Maryland, maybe even Rockingham looking great. We'll get to that in a second, but I would get my tickets early.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I think, knock on wood, good weather, all that stuff. I think, those events have strong potential to be, well, we've closed the gates. We can't let anyone else in here type of events for sure. So yeah. That's not a ploy. That's get your tickets so you can come see it for sure.
That's it. And to be there for these historic first. All right. You mentioned the Potomac Nationals. That's got me very excited because I used to live in Arlington, Virginia. When I worked at XM for NASCAR radio, I would go into the district every day and fly into Reagan and, go over the Washington Monument and feel that. And I really think that, if I could force everybody to do something, it would be to just go and experience Washington, D.C., our capital. And now to be racing, what is it? It's like 40 minutes or something. It's a reasonable drive from the capital. I have been told that the place to fly into is National by Royce. And so that is going to be wild. Again, a smaller style event, maybe not the full Lucas Oil contingent that we're used to, but we're just getting used to having cars at this slightly smaller track that is historic. Like this is a historic facility. They got that World Cup. Tell us a little bit about Maryland.
Well, yeah, I think that's going to be great. Obviously, and they're already doing all sorts of work. You can see kind of the energy, enthusiasm there. The upgrades they're making, and some of them are just because of the national event. Some are like the national event were a good kind of kickstart to get these done because it's something they had wanted to do and just for whatever reason it hadn't happened yet. And now it's happening. So it's great. The facility is going to be awesome. I think, like you mentioned, just a good kind of starting point of like what classes we can have there that kind of fit and function properly for just to make it an enjoyable event for fans and racers, to be honest. They are going to do the double divisional there, at Maryland. So I think sportsman racers will have a great opportunity to race there too. So I think that's important as well. But, I think this is, kids are getting out of school, families are getting out of school, go on vacation. I think maybe you come to this race, you spend a couple of days in DC, maybe go to the beach. I mean, this is, I think this would be really cool to, go to DC, spend a couple of days there, come to the race. That's a pretty cool combo.
This is, Dugenet is out there, not Bland. He says, this is my home where I'm from. Yes, DCA is the place to fly into. It's not that far from downtown stuff. Great food places to eat in Southern Maryland area. Also, by the way, Dugenet and the Power Hour, new day and time, actually new time, 5:30 p.m. Tuesday. For those of you wondering out there, you want to catch up with Lee and Dugenet on Competition Plus. They got a new time. I'm super excited. I'm already planning to go in at least a day early, catch up with all my DC friends, which I still have a couple people, and just enjoy the district and the capital. But then, we've got so much more on the schedule. I think we're still going back to ZMAX and we're going to all the traditional places. The Western Swing is going to be a little different because we're going Sonoma first and then up to Seattle. I love that move. Sonoma first, up to Seattle.
Why do you love that?
Why do I love it?
Yeah.
I love it because I think it's going to bring more people up to Seattle because they're 2/3 of the way there already. Okay. They're going to Sonoma. Like, it's just a little bit further up the road. Come up and hang with us in Seattle. Right. Number one. Number two, just starting off with a bang and then go to the, it's grassroots. It's in the woods. Jason and his team up there in Seattle. Such a welcoming place. I always have fun there. It'll be the back half of the Western Double.
Yeah, I felt like that was a nice kind of by the time we left Seattle last year, I feel like we had really kind of renewed momentum at that track. I thought it was a very good weekend. We had great weather. Hopefully things work out where we've got a handful more cars there, in the Nitro ranks. I think there's kind of a renewed enthusiasm to get up there and race there. So I think we'll see a strong uptick there in that regard. But I thought just that race overall was good and just left with some good energy. Sonoma was just killer last year. So I feel like I agree. I feel like that's those two races are in a really good spot. And I think that'll continue to grow this year and in future years. Cause I think there'll be some, maybe there's some new places you go to add to the swing.
Oh, see, look at that. I think that's called a tease. Like he can't tell us, but there's something out there in the ether, in the air, floating around. Certainly. We could keep you forever, but I want to do these 4 new tracks, right?
Yep.
So then there's in the countdown, starting the countdown, US 131. I was there one time. That's where I met Nitro Dave Miller. And I saw, Bob Zelag working on Dom Lagana's car when Dom set that quarter-mile record for him.
38, right?
Yeah, I was coincidentally, I think I was there. I was definitely there to see him, and I feel like I saw that run. But don't hold me to it like I'm running for office or anything. But beautiful track. And I love the fact that it's between Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids, 2 decent-sized cities, only one of which is the birthplace of Derek Jeter, though. And it's beautiful. Like, those people are going to love the NHRA show.
That's a very, I guess maybe underrated, like, motorsports market. And that's credit to the track as far as, like, they have a lot of events, and they've got a great fan base there. They do the, I think it's the Funny Car Nationals and some other various pro mod specialty race events that do really well up there. So I think they've created a great kind of enthusiasm there. And I think this is just going to be massive. From everything that I've heard already, it's just like, people are just calling up and buying tickets and reserving stuff and everything, and it's January. That race isn't until September. So I think it's going to be awesome. The setting there is super cool. I agree, Joe. I think it's a great facility. Again, they're eager to make improvements and updates to their track and just little tweaks and renovations and stuff like that to bring in new things and do new things. And we're thrilled to be part of it. And I mean, man, going there in September, you're talking, it could be picture perfect weather up there to kick off the countdown. Could be awesome. I mean, and elephant in the room, it's maybe not how you want it to end up there, but is what it is. And we're looking forward to it for sure.
And I love that you address it. It is what it is, right? Elephant in the room. It is what it is. Like, the people of the Maple Grove area, you're an NHRA fan, like, love, respect, want to see you somewhere. And this is just, it's business and business happens. But US 131 has dogs, Tucker and Hazel.
They do have dogs.
Track dogs. They got track dogs.
Informed, yes.
I too have been informed by
by the same source.
Our WFO dog expert and
yes.
etc. Right? No, doing a great job. And then finally, of the new tracks, like that, what a great way to start the countdown.
Yeah, right.
So to me, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Change can be good. Everybody fears a little change. All these tracks that are what they are because not solely, but partially because they've had an anchor like NHRA Drag Racing coming every year, and they were able to build into something larger than life. Now, a couple of new tracks are going to get that opportunity to develop what they are at this moment. 10 years from now, if things keep going, what could they be? That's what's exciting to me. Let's talk about that.
Like, Gainesville wasn't, when the first Gator Nationals, it wasn't Gainesville as we know it now, but it built into that because of just the enthusiasm for. So, I mean, you could definitely see that happen at any of these 4 places.
Rockingham. I raced there a couple of months ago. Project Pontiac, Super Street, had a great time. And the second I went touring around and looking and imagining imagining, and now if you follow Rockingham on their social feeds, guys, you could see that they have finished the concrete grandstands. They're working on the track surface. I am going to say something bold. I think that once it's completed, that seat that you see is the best seat in Nitro Drag Racing. Like you are got a great view. I'll put it that way.
We need to like have it like marked off, and like that fan like sits there and we get their reaction, or do something cool with that, right? Like it's the Joe Castello best seat in drag racing.
Best seat in drag racing right there. Cause I rode my scooter around and I was looking and doing sight lines. Everybody does that, I'm sure, right? Like wherever you go, even if you go to a baseball stadium before the game, you kind of look around in the different views, and man, I was like, wow, this is awesome. Plus you go up a hill. For those that don't know, you kind of like go up this ramp, and the top of the grandstand is the top of the hill, and the grandstand is cut into the side of the hill, kind of like Vandermeer was. And so that deck, like we'll call it the top part, you're gonna be able to watch a lot from there too. And I don't know what they're gonna do with VIP or you know, they have many options. They could create something spectacular there at Rockingham. And so it's very exciting. The pit area, trees, it's intimate. It's really nice. And then the Winston Suite on the 3rd floor of the tower, which I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I hope I get to go in. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I mean, I think the atmosphere there is going to be second to none. I mean, I think, again, it's a place that wants a national event. They're excited about it. They're doing all this stuff, but I think the reason they're excited about it is they hear from their like local fan base, like, man, we would love this. It'd be incredible. Could that really happen? And then it does. And you can just kind of ups the ante even more. You know, they're doing all sorts of stuff to the facility. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, I think you're just going to see like super cool excitement and kind of like electricity at all these races. And to have it this year in the 75th just adds to it. I think it just gives everybody some awesome energy. You know, I think you're going to see a lot of great crowds everywhere all year.
Well, I hope. And that's up to, you know, first off, the weather. Hopefully we get lucky with the weather. The one thing we cannot control that is genuinely out of our control. We're hoping for great weather at the Gator Nationals, and then we're on the ride. Just that simple. We'll be going west and Phoenix and heading out to Pomona and all kinds of great stuff. Those fans starved for a little drag racing since what happened. You know, Mom Nature said no. Josh, any final thought? Is there anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to put out there for the WFO universe, to find folks out there who love NHRA drag racing, something they should think about? You've given us so much. The stock exchange, awesome stuff. Obviously, we'll all be watching the Ford announcement. I'm hoping to have a big guest next week on the show. I don't know if I told you that.
You did mention that. Yes.
Big guest. I can't say who, but hoping. You know.
No, I think, this is awesome. Thanks for having me, as always. And
you're in the rotation now. I don't know if you know that.
I like being in the rotation. Yeah.
You're in the rotation. Galvin's in the rotation. You're in the rotation. Jason Logan is in the rotation. Awesome. It's become, you know, different and things have evolved on WFO. But look, Allie Bland is out there saying the combination is what she say. 10 of 10.
Well, I'd prefer 11 out of 10, but you know.
Yeah, whatever. We can work harder.
We got work to do.
We can work harder.
Thanks, Joe. No, I think I just want everyone to tune in next week on Vice and kind of get this whole season rolling. I think we're amped up for a big one. I think a lot of cool things are happening.
What's that, Wednesday night?
Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on Vice.
Man, I'll do my part. Like, we're going to do watch parties, baby. Everybody do your Vice watch party.
There you
NHRA. Go. And I haven't seen it. That's why I'm actually very excited and happy with myself. I could have pulled a string or leaned on someone to see something. And I really have seen very little, only the things that have been released. So I'll be watching this fresh and excited to see it. Josh, thank you very much. Appreciate you investing your time in WFO. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
There goes Josh Hatchet. He is the Director of Media and Communications for the National Hot Rod Association. All right, final comments in the comment section, guys. Yeah, I went a little long talking about the 75 list because I love lists. Everybody loves lists. But when you post about the list or you don't agree with the list, when you type it, it always comes across much more mean than you mean it. If you use all capitals and an exclamation point, you're pretty much telling the person you want to fight them. That's all. It's an etiquette that we're learning over time. Don't forget, the guys from Life's a Drag will be on tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. Last week, I was on the show, and Josh Hart was on the show. Josh Hart is a different person. Josh Hart from Bernie Speed Shop. Bernie's doing a great job. That's where the Fan Fest is going to be before the Gator Nationals Wednesday. Josh Hart is, like you can see, he is unburdened by all the associated extra that came with being a Nitro team owner. We had a blast on Life's a Drag. You can go back after the show. You can check it out. Don't forget, we're going to be airing interviews with champion drivers. So subscribe, click the bell. Justin Lamb, Darian Bosch, JJ Brock, Casey Plaisir, and more over the next couple of weeks. And so whenever you follow us on Facebook, on X, be ready. We'll do your final comments real quick after this.
Foggit is a high-performance fogging oil designed especially for internal combustion engines. Foggit can be used by everyone. If you have a lawnmower, a jet ski, a motorcycle, a tractor, a high-performance car, a classic car, racing vehicles, if it has a cylinder wall, it needs Foggit.
And you can pick up your can of Foggit at summit-racing-equipment.com. Go to the Summit catalog or just hit the web, summitracing.com. Get yourself a can of Foggit. You will use it on everything. And I am super excited. I got a little news today. I'm a news guy and I'm very superstitious. It's the Italian in me. Like, I don't want to jinx anything. But something, there's a big happening in the world of Project Pontiac and Joe Castello Racing, Castello Motorsports, or whatever we call it. Super big. And I have now seen it. And so it exists. So stay tuned for that. But first, I want to tell you about the folks at HusseyPerformance.net. David Allen and the team, when we were working on the race car with a specific goal of 2026, those Diamond Wallies, I've known about them for about half the year. And then when I saw them at PRI, it made me feel really good about, I've got 4 chances to back into one of those Diamond Wallies. And I'm going to try. I'm going to try at Orlando Speed World. I'm going to try at the Baby Gators. And then Rockingham at the end of the year, just like I did last year. I'm going to get 4 opportunities at a Diamond Wally. And putting the car together, David Allen and the team at HusseyPerformance.net, when I needed gaskets, they were there. We, pulled the headers off a couple of times, had them jet hot coated. The guys at Jet Hot helped us out with the coating. And the Hedman Hustler headers, Jordan, helped me out with the headers, got me the right headers and everything. Oh, yeah, I used every possible connection and friendship to get this car on the track, and it was amazing. When you see Project Pontiac, you think the headers, you got to think about Jordan Vandegrift, new John Force Racing driver. Because Jordan was like, Joe, we'll figure out what you need, and we'll get it right. And they actually did a special collector for me, which was great. Then I had to get them jet hot coated, which meant I had to pull them off, right? Brent Potsy, Super Stock Racer, helped me out. The folks at Jet Hot had coated them with their super high temp coating. So hopefully they will last the rest of my lifetime. we hope. But when I pulled off the gaskets, I needed exhaust gaskets. And there was David Allen and the team. Not just copper anymore. They have composite gaskets as well for your application. It's all laser cut, made in America, American materials. And you can give them a call, 412-716-4872. Not his personal cell, but the shop line. 412-716-4872, Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Don't miss them. And Marvin Rodak, coffeeandgrills.com, the hot sauce, the spice rub. Marvin has been such a long-time sponsor. He's such a great person. And the next time you want some really amazing coffee, check out Marvin Rodak and also the folks at Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. The Dragster Adventure is what I promote, for you guys to go drive dragsters. When are you going to get to do that? Drive dragsters yourself, showing up with nothing and letting someone else take all the responsibility. That's really what it is. They do that. Go to frankhawley.com, find out when works for you. All right, final comments. Then, of course, the Patreons. C5 Pete got himself a t-shirt for signing up for the year, and it's going in the mail today. C5 Pete, maybe tomorrow. All right, let's see what you say. Final comments, and then we're out of here. See what you have to say. It was exciting to see the chat section kind of rolling. The numbers went up when Josh was on here. Josh does a great job. He and I are, friends. And sight view is everything, especially for a junk photographer like me, Steve. I appreciate the self-deprecation. I too paint in that. And guys, man, Rockingham. Just go to the Rockingham social. Just go to their social media and check out the videos that they posted today of tractors going up and down the track, and look at that track as in relation to where you are in the top row. And there's going to be not a lot like it on planet Earth. And the only thing that I'm going to be really jealous of is that, how about this, that I have to stand on the starting line or be in the booth. I mean, I'm sure they could kick me out of the booth for a session or a run or something to go experience it. But it's going to be amazing. Going to be amazing. Gator Nationals will be sold out as regularly. Keith is from Florida, and he's right. The Gator Nationals, typically Saturday sellout, Friday, the biggest Friday in the sport. I'm just making this up based on my feelings, but I feel it's true. And always a really good Sunday. So Gator Nationals, going to be great. Mon Nature, please. Please, please. Good to see you again. Worst kept secret Proc Tasca Detroit Auto Show. But Frank, isn't it fun to keep the worst kept secret, to kind of keep it? But since you brought it up, it's going to be a wild situation. Assuming what you say is true, Frank, and those of us who are in the dark on the deal are shown the light that you have seen. If you're right, and the Proc family has left John Force and Chevrolet to go to Tasca and Ford, that's a big move, man. That's an emotional strike. That's what are fans of John Force going to think? What are Chevy fans going to think? There's going to be, I think it might unleash some genuine passion. It might, in drag racing fans. There might be some passion. Like if you were a John Force fan that stood there and you watched John Force hug Austin Proc and say, this guy's my replacement. And then to see Austin slide down into the cockpit of a Mustang. And if that were to happen, I don't know. I think a black car could be cool. But again, we got to wait. We got to wait till Thursday. We got to wait. Sammy's just coming on. Sammy Eubanks. Sammy, you should come back out this year, bud. You don't have to go to every race, but we should see some Sammy Eubanks out there a little bit. My friend Sammy Eubanks. Love that guy. Congratulations, fans. Top Shelf, Employee Racing, town in your area. Thank you, Ralph. Don't know what all that is. I don't know what Support Global Chat. I don't know what that is either, but you guys are using my show to promote your thing. Okay. Whatever. Is Vice available on Dish Network or is it a paid channel? The answer is I don't know. But Brian Loans says that these shows are going to air on the Vice YouTube channel. Now, are they going to air simultaneously as the regular show? Probably not. But eventually, they're going to end up on the Vice YouTube channel. So if Vice isn't available, I think Vice is available as part of the basic package on many cable networks. I can't speak for Dish. You got to look it up. Sorry. But you will have access to it at some point. You just won't be able to do the watch parties that we're all doing next Wednesday night. After we get all the important stuff out the way, right? Monday. Indiana, big favorite, massive favorite. The little University of Miami private school going up against this juggernaut. How could we ever? They say it's impossible. You're the mayor of NHRA. Take all your time, Joe. Says Paul Boone. Yeah, I don't know. Not true. Hi, Joe and WFO people. Montana Karting here. P.S. Happy birthday soon. Thank you, Gary. I'll be at Fastlane Friday at Homestead Miami Speedway on my birthday doing grassroots drag racing. I'm very excited about it. Great show today. Lots of great info put out there today. Yes, I'm excited about putting out great info. Get Bob Wilbur on the show. I love Bob Wilbur. I think Bob Wilbur is going to be on Life's a Drag at some point. Let's go Project Pontiac. I put new axles in the car this past weekend. I had a whole thing going on, but I'm getting the full racer experience, guys. I'm getting the full racer experience, like busted knuckles, like installing 5/8 studs onto new axles. What a trick. You thread in the stud into the threads, and then you're supposed to put a what people will call a nylock type washer on the back. My Aunt Helen used to work at Elastic Stop Nut in New Jersey, the people who I think invented it, which is, one of those nuts that's got the nylon in there. And as soon as the nylon gets to the stud wants to thread out the other way. And so here I am trying to figure that out for 10 studs. I eventually figured it out, got them in, got them torqued, got them all ready to go. But I was tripped up for a little bit, but I eventually got it. Not quite a new rear end, just new axles. Hopefully we don't need a new rear end ever. Project Pontiac is going to get it done. I don't know if it's the world's most famous super street car, but soon it might be. Blake saying hi to Dugenet and Lee Kraft, the Monday Morning Racer. I like these guys and I like their show. I like that Dugenet is a sports media guy. And I don't want to say he's not like a drag racer, but he's a drag racing knowledgeable fan who wants to know more and brings what I would call mainstream sports media style takes. And then you got Lee, who is hardcore drag racing, and together they have some really interesting and insightful conversations. They got a new show time on Competition Plus Power Hour, 5:30 today. So I think it's smart, guys. You kind of got an afternoon drive deal going. End of the day, people can chill out with you. Nighttime, dealing with the kids, watching TV, little tougher. I think you're going to do better at 5:30, in my opinion. Did you get the car off the jacks yesterday? No, but I did get my TBM brakes back on there, and I'm slow rolling. I got a new transmission pan that is drilled for an oil temp for a trans temp gauge, thanks to FTI, making a new radiator, making various improvements. It'll stay on the jacks for a little while. Everyone rooting me on. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Please push don't like is what he says. No, I think he says please push that like. Again, self-deprecation. Ken Justice, another great show, Joe. Josh was awesome. Josh is awesome. And Josh is a friend. And that's the thing, sometimes I get a little puffed up about, I know the people who are working and how hard they're working. I know them, how hard they're working and how much they care. And you'll see a random stranger in all caps say something like, they don't care. And when when you're me and you know that they care and how hard they're working, it bugs you. And so I'm excited that Josh is coming on now. And you can see, all right, guys, it's not a mystery anymore. You want to know who's working and how hard they're working? You will have some of them and you'll get to know them. Insight of future reference to carefully inquire a new friend in your racing history. Oh, thank you very much. Right? Hug and support your your father who passed. Thank you very much. Yeah, we had the celebration of life at the Daryl Gwynn Show of Shows 1 year ago. Going back there was a big emotional reminder of my dad, but I can tell you in the most positive of ways. And if you are afraid of losing a parent, it's the worst thing in the world. But also, if you have the right perspective, you can get through it and they can be with you. And, I had a dream about my dad last night. In the dream, my dad told me in a weird way that I should have Joe Amato on the show. Isn't that weird? Yeah, it's weird. But I'm going to reach out to Joe. Why wouldn't I? Mr. Joe, when you're running your car at Orlando, can I come see you? Yes. Well, that's Jimmy Kroll. Used to work at Miami Hollywood Speedway. Was the starter at Miami Hollywood Speedway. Guaranteed Jimmy Kroll was the starter when these photos were taken. He's on there starting line somewhere. Too bad we don't see you, Jimmy. You got cropped out. Ron Merkel focused on the deal. I believe the tickets are available for anybody to come watch. And I am not going to be distracted. You could be walking around, having fun, doing your thing. And Project Pontiac comes up to the lanes. So if Project Pontiac can somehow sell a ticket to a Lucas Oil Series race. Like, I think that's a good thing. That's also my goal. Frisky says it's on Dish. Don't worry. It's channel 121. Look at that. Racers helping racers. Great show. Now we're just trying to get to the end of the comments. Ooh, Hurricanes 35-21. Don't say that, Keith. Play the underdog, man. We're going to get blown out. Oh, it's going to be tough. Those guys are too good. What are we going to do? Just happy that we got there. Right? Let's see. Dragster Jeff, that's just silly. Sorry if I hurt your feelings. I think that's the caps joke, meaning all caps. Oh, here we go. Derek Putnam. Glad you're getting back to racing again. Always enjoy hearing you on the show, says Derek Putnam. Thank you, Derek, who called the action with us, I believe, at 4 races last year. Certainly at Charlotte, and I think at Gainesville, and did a fine job and is a good guy, and I've known him since we were teenagers, racing at Moroso Motorsports Park. And that's it. We got to the end of the comments, and that was my goal today. You know, I thought about it. I was like, should I bring on guests? And I already had Josh planned a little bit. But sometimes it's fun to just kick it with you guys. The comments. Read the comments. Take the temperature. See what you think. See what you feel. What's out there? The list. The list. Who's not going to be there? I assure you. Guaranteed. Someone that you think should be on the list is not going to be on the list. But remember, it's just a list. You can still love these guys. You can still love them. Guys, if you join Patreon, I'll send you a t-shirt right away. Got to join for a year, though. WFO t-shirt. But the regular swag is on sale. All of our merch. The Project Pontiac stuff. Yeah, you got to have a Project Pontiac shirt if you're going to show up, right? You'd think I would have like a picture of it. This is what it looks like. The back. But WFO mugs and hats and shirts and all of that stuff. All available. Life's a Drag guys are on 12 noon Eastern time. Also, guys, I got a little behind on this. I want to send my heartfelt condolences to Ricky Gadsden and the Gadsden family. If you follow Ricky on social, there are no words. I feel for you guys all so much, and your extended drag racing family is here for you. But there's nothing we can do. It's too terrible. And David Knapp. The Knapp family, Vinny's son, David. David was in their chat section on a regular basis from Englishtown, New Jersey. David Knapp passed away a couple of weeks ago, 49 years old, lived in Florida. Good guy, huge supporter of me, like personally, would call me and tell me, like, man, you're really doing fun stuff, good stuff. Like, I really like it. And unfortunately, David passed away a couple weeks ago. So it's tough, man. The more great people you get to know, the more tragedy you got to deal with from time to time. It's just the way it is, though. We're lucky to keep going. Thank you all. Appreciate you. See you on Life's a Drag. WFO.